probably going to end up playing 4 spades. And Matt, how's it going?
It's going good.
All right. Match points. If some of the field's in 4 spades and some of the field's in 6 spades, honestly, it still matters that you get the heart suit right, because you're competing against the other people who are in the same contract. So if half the field's in 4 spades, the people who make 6 are going to score better than the people who make 5. If you're in 6 spades, making it is more important than being down. Make sense? Okay. Now, logic.
Did you get that?
Says we should start by counting our tricks. So we have 6 sure spade tricks, and 3 sure diamond tricks, and 2 sure club tricks. That's 11 tricks. We have 1 sure heart loser, which is the ace of hearts. Okay, what's the swing trick? Right, it's the second heart. So if I lose 2 heart tricks, I'm going to get 11 tricks. If I lose 1 heart trick but I win 1 heart trick, I'm going to get 12 tricks. Can we agree to that? Okay. A lot of bridge feels like it's a guess. You know, I could play a heart to the king and hope the ace is here. I could play a heart to the jack and hope the queen is here. I mean, doesn't that feel like a guess? But be honest, how often do you sit at the bridge table and you sit there and feel like, man, I gotta guess what to lead. I gotta guess whether I should bid or not. I gotta guess whether I should play on diamonds or clubs. It feels like a guess a lot, right? Okay, so here's my simple answer to everything. Just try to make the percentage decision, and whatever you do is okay. But sometimes you end up in a situation like this. And this is the first of 3 topics we're going to talk about today. And the topic is, how do I turn the odds in my favor? Now,
You stripped the side suits.
my brother, smartest guy you'll ever meet in your life, okay? But he can't play bridge with a leg, all right? Like, at all. Because to him, this is a complete guess. To be a good bridge player, what you have to do is figure out what information do I have that can turn the odds in my favor. And sometimes it's not what people do, it's what they don't do. I want you to pretend for a moment you're sitting at the table, you're in 6 spades. Okay? And if you only look at the world from your perspective, you can't see it. That's the problem most people have, is they see what's directly in front of them. What I do, in just about everything I do, whether it's business, whether it's bridge, whatever it is I always look at everything from everybody else's perspective. And then I already know what they're thinking. And that gives me a huge advantage. Now, imagine you're sitting in this club and you're playing in 6 spades. And the guy's sitting over here with the ace of hearts. Is there a possibility he would lead it? For example, suppose the bidding went 2 clubs, 2 diamonds waiting, 2 spades, 3 spades, I have a good hand, 4 no trump, I've got 1 key card, 6 spades. Okay, that's a pretty normal auction, right? I would imagine some similar auction to this will occur at most tables, and most people will be in 6 spades. If the person sitting over here with the ace of hearts, is it possible they would lead it? Is it possible? I'm not saying they will lead it. Is it possible they'll lead it? Okay. If they have the queen of hearts, would they ever lead the queen?
No.
No, they would never do that. So if they led a spade, the 8 of spades, against this contract, that's a spade on my plan. Okay, I'm an artist. They lead the 8 of mushrooms. Are they more likely or less likely to hold the ace of hearts or the queen of hearts? They're more likely the queen, because the original chances of having the queen haven't changed, right? But some of the time they hold the ace, they would have let it. So if I had to guess, which should I guess? That they have the ace of hearts or the queen of hearts? The queen. Oh, I should play them for the queen. Is it equal odds still? It's not. It's not at all. Because some of the time this person has the ace of hearts, they would have played it. Now, are they wrong to play the ace of hearts when they have it? That's a very opinionated question, isn't it? Depends on a million factors. But some people like to lead their aces against slams. And some very good players like to play that way. And I'll tell you why. Because if we have enough stuff to be in a slam, odds are we have enough stuff to get rid of our losers. Therefore, they don't want to defend passively, And you know what? Sometimes you lead the ace of hearts, and you know what you find? Your partner has the king. Sometimes you find your partner has a stiff. Sometimes it's great. So I would argue that my correct play is to play a heart to the jack. Now notice something about this. From a strictly mathematical perspective, are the odds equal? But are they? They're not. And that's what it means to be a bridge player. A real bridge player. Because a real bridge player can look at what's actually happening and understand the table. And understand there's more to bridge than just understanding mathematics. There's understanding tendencies. There's understanding that in certain situations people tend to do certain things. Let me take this further. Oh, one more thing before I move on from this. So I'm going to win the 8 of mushrooms lead, right? And I'll pull trump because why not? Should I cash out all my side winners first?
Yes.
The answer is no.
No.
And I'll tell you why. Well, I'm curious. Why is the answer no? Anybody know?
When you pull them, you're telling the defense, you're giving information to the defense.
If I give this guy the full count of the hand,
Yeah.
is he going to know to duck the ace of hearts? Okay, if you want people to make mistakes against you, put them under as much pressure as you possibly can. Okay? So I'll play the heart before I play the minors, and I'll tell you why. I want this guy to be afraid to duck the ace in case I have a stiff. Does that make sense? If I let him know my whole count, he's going to know I have 2 hearts and he can duck. But if I play the heart early, he's less likely to duck the ace. And then when he plays small, I'm more confident to call the jack. See how that works?
Say that again.
Sure. So I had ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, and I have 2 small here, right? Okay. Pretend, for example, you have ace, 3rd of hearts, and you're sitting over here. Okay? That's you. You're sitting over here. You have other cards. Okay? You want to know whether to duck the heart when I lead towards the king jack, right? If you're the defender? Because if your partner has the queen, you want to duck, right? And you're hoping I'll call the jack and lose 2 tricks? Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're sitting over here, what are you doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing. One, I'm counting the spade distribution when he pulls trump, right? Because when he pulls trump, that's going to tell me how many spades he started with. Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to watch the signals here to get the count on the minors. Because I need to know how many hearts he has. And if I'm being completely honest about it, I could tell by the way the person's sitting in their chair if they have the ace of hearts or not. And I'll tell you why. Because if he doesn't have the ace of hearts, how's he going to be sitting? They're super relaxed, right? Just falling cards, waiting for the next hand. But what if he has the ace of hearts and he's looking at this? What's he going to be doing? He's sitting up. He's watching across the table. Why is he watching across the table? Make sure he sees the signal right so he knows the count. Okay? So if you just kind of peek over at his body language, you'll know if he has the ace of hearts or not. It's the truth. Just sneak over and look.
But he's not going to lead from his ace.
Some people will and some people won't. You're not going to underlead him, no. But when I lead a small heart towards the king jack, the truth will be exposed, right? If he's under pressure. Okay.
And if he's relaxed, you play.
If he's relaxed without a problem in the world, he doesn't have the ace. That's my hand. So I opened it a heart.
Good plan.
Okay, no one disagrees. Pass. 2 hearts. Pretty exciting. 2 spades over here. Playing match points. I only have 12 points, but I also have a doubleton and some extra hearts. Should I bid? Should I pass? What should I do? I should bid. And I'm going to bid 3 hearts, and I'll tell you why. What does 3 hearts say about my hand? Does it say anything? Okay, it's an interesting question. What does 3 hearts say? To me, I'll tell you what it says. It says, I would rather play 3 hearts than defend 2 spades. Now, that's a stupid statement. Of course it means that. But what it really means is I have some kind of shape element to my hand. So I could be 5-5, could have a stiff spade, I could have a 6th heart. I mean, is there anybody here who thinks defending 2 spades is a good idea? Well, for one reason, I think they're going to make it, so I don't really want to defend it. The other thing is I think I might make 3 hearts. So, but I'm just bidding on my shape, not on my values. So 3 hearts doesn't show extra values, it shows us playing strength. Okay, and I know that's kind of a nebulous way to describe it, but it's the truth. I could have a multitude of shaped hands that would rather bid on to 3 hearts. And that's one of the problems when your opponents have spades, is they get to play at a lower level, so sometimes you have to bid over it just because they have spades. Okay, so even though I have a 12 count, I'm choosing to bid 3 hearts. And it goes pass, pass, pass. Okay? Feels pretty good to be in 3 hearts, right? Go for it.
So the partner bid 2 hearts, meaning he has 3.
At least.
At least 3. So we already have 9. So based on the
10.
10.
oh, we have 10. So it should be no brainer. Just bid 3 hearts, right?
I feel so. Not everyone will agree, but they're
So based on the
wrong.
law of two tricks, you couldn't mix.
When bidding 3 hearts is wrong, I don't want to be right. Okay? My simple point is, bidding 3 hearts did not show extra strength. Okay? It showed shape, and it's not always because I think I'm making 3 hearts. Sometimes I'm bidding because I think they're making 2 spades. So sometimes I bid because I'm not strong. And it's an important distinction to understand. Okay. Like, is it possible the opponents make 4 spades on this hand? It's certainly a possibility at this stage. Because our heart tricks aren't cashing defensively, we have 10 of them. And I don't have much else. And my partner doesn't have much either. He has a 2 heart bid. Okay. So now we're in 3 hearts. And partner's hand comes down with king third, queen jack, 3 small, king jack fourth, and 3 dead. Is there anything wrong with partner's 2 heart bid? No. Okay. So the opening lead is the 10 of mushrooms. There's another one. Okay? Okay, now we've all played enough bridge in this room, I'm assuming, that we know what the first 3 tricks of this hand are going to be, right? It's going to go queen, ace, and a ruff. It's coming, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Okay? Okay. So I play small, and he wins the queen, and I play small, now he cashes the ace, I'll probably false card, he follows, and he plays a 3rd spade. Now, what's this guy's body language going to tell you? What's his body language going to tell you after he leads the 10 of spades and the queen holds the trick? Does he know he's getting a ruff? So what's he going to do in that chair? She's got it. Why is he sitting up?
The suit preference.
Because he wants to know the suit preference, which means he has to look at the spots. Again, one trick, you know all the cards, right? The second he sat up in his chair, you knew what was happening on the hand, right? Try it sometime. You'll be amazed at the things you can discover about your opponent's cards. You just look at the way they're sitting in the chair. Okay, 3rd spade comes along, and it's a high one. It's the 9. What's he asking for? Obviously, he's giving his partner a spade or up, but what's he want in return?
Diamond.
A diamond. Okay? That's why this guy was sitting up in the chair, right? He wanted to make sure he knew the 3rd card was at high or low. And the only way he can know that is by watching these spots. So he knew what was out. Okay. So back comes, after he ruffs, the 10 of diamonds. Here comes another beauty for me. There you go. And again, it feels like a guess. So, one of the toughest skills in bridge is learning how to listen to your opponents. And I got so frustrated playing bridge at one point, I just stopped listening to them completely. I just decided my opponents, I'm not even going to acknowledge they exist anymore. Okay? Because it's just going to drive me crazy. Because they never have what they say they're going to have. I mean, honestly, who's never felt that way before playing bridge? You get so frustrated listening to your opponents that they never have their bids, they never have what they say they have, and you're just going to stop paying attention to them. So I got really frustrated with it, and then I finally said, no, that's wrong. What I got to do is learn how to listen to them. And the way to know how to listen to them is, when the opponents have strong hands, they're going to tell the truth. And the reason they're going to tell the truth is because they don't want to end up in bad slams. When they're defending and they're giving each other signals that their partner needs, those signals will tend to be honest because their partner needs to know what to do. Now, is this a situation where they need to know what to do? It is, because he knows his partner's going to ruff the third spade, right? Okay, so does the 9 of spades tend to be an honest card?
Yes.
I would say yes. You see the distinction here? If it's a meaningless card that you're just playing the hand and they throw out a card, partner doesn't necessarily need the signal, I'm not looking. But here, he knows his partner was watching. He knows his partner needs to know whether to return a club or a diamond. So he really, the 9, the odds are this guy has something in clubs too, right? Because I'm missing the king, queen, and jack. Okay. I tend to think the 9 of spades was an honest card. Okay. 10 of diamonds comes back. Now, again, so much of bridge feels like it comes down to a guess. And if we're just talking math, are the ace and queen equal odds for both hands? They are. Like the chances of the queen, you could argue about it, but it could be in either hand, and the ace could be in either hand, right? Okay, forget about the fact that he signaled for a diamond. What else tells you the ace of diamonds is probably on your right as opposed to your left? Again, think about bridge players. Think you're sitting in this room playing against people you normally play against. What makes you think the 10 of diamonds, the ace of diamonds is in that hand?
It was the best entry to his hand. Not
It
a
certainly
club.
would be. Because he doesn't have the club ace, because I have it. But could the ace of diamonds, again, the odds originally were equal to who had it, right? Okay. If this guy had the ace of diamonds, would he tend to underlead it? I don't know how many people play in this group club. I would guess 500. I know there's a ton of people who play bridge here, right? Is 500 about right? Too much? That's too bad. It used to be 500. Let's say it was 500. Let's say it's 250. Okay? Of that 250, would some of them be afraid to underlead the ace of diamonds? Yes. Does that affect the odds? The answer is yes. If you're not sure, I'm going to give you the answer. The answer is yes. Because some of the time this person holds the ace of diamonds, they would be afraid to underlead it. That make sense? Can you guys, is that a fair statement? Okay. Would they ever be afraid to underlead the queen of diamonds? No. No. Now here's the thing about this hand, and I know someone's going to make this argument. Aren't you better off hoping the king of diamonds holds so they don't get any more ruffs? Yeah, if it held, that would be great. It ain't going to happen. Now here's the other thing about this hand. Let's be honest. Do you know anybody who's not bidding 3 hearts over 2 spades? I would say the only people who didn't bid 3 hearts are the people who bid 4 hearts. But I mean, I would love to meet the person who chose to pass. Like we could go have a cup of coffee and talk about life or something. I don't know. But clearly they have a different worldview than I do. I can't imagine anybody passing. So being in 3 hearts and dealing with this problem, this is the problem that's going to get faced at every single table in the room, right? And if anything, you should be glad right now you're not in 4. You're only in 3. So getting the diamond right is actually more important than swinging for the fences to avoid the next ruff. Is that fair? Okay. Should I call the king or the jack? Should call the jack. Again, notice how the odds appeared equal, but they're not. See how you can manipulate things in your favor? Okay.
Would you leave this?
You're in no trump. And they lead the deuce. This is not an uncommon situation, right? We've got queen 10 small, opposite 3 small. Ugh. Assuming the deuce is honest, and again, it goes back to a basic point. Do I trust my opponents to be honest? Of course not. That would be totally insulting to them. It would also be totally insulting to me to make myself so naive. But I will tell you what I tend to believe. I do believe that people play fourth best, they'll tend to lead fourth best. I will trust them that far. Okay? Hopefully I don't need to trust them more than that, or I'll be in trouble. It's kind of a guess, right? Do I play the queen? Do I play the 10? But I want to go back to my original premise is always play the odds. Playing the queen is right when both the ace and the king are over here. Agree? Okay. When is playing the 10 right? When the jack is here. Now I don't need to run the permutations, right? Everybody understands that? Okay, I'm gonna go with yes. All right. So they lead the deuce. Which should I call? The 10. And honestly, I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem. Now, does that mean I should always just blindly call the 10? Well, the actual hand, this person opened the bidding, the club. Okay? Okay. My partner has and I have I believe this was the jack of spades. So I have 19 high, and my partner has 8 high. 27 points. Okay. Again, always be aware of your surroundings. Such a critical part of bridge. Just always be aware of what's going on around you. Don't play blindly with your own cards. Always pay attention to what's going on. This guy opened a club. These hands ended up at 3-0. Unfortunately for us, he chose to lead a heart. Not the lead I was hoping for. Ugh. Okay. I have a 19 count. My partner has an 8 count. Why is that important?
He has nothing.
Okay.
His partner has one.
So if this guy has at least 12, there's room for one jack with my right-hand opponent. Is that fair? Okay. The worst thing you can do to yourself is say, oh, this is too hard, I'm not going to try. Because then you're not going to advance. What you got to do is just take a second think about it. What else do I know about the heart suit by the fact the guy led the deuce of hearts? He has 4. So hearts are 4, triple 3. That's very good. What else do you think you know? And again, put yourself in his perspective. If you knew you opened and they landed in 3-0, are you pretty aware that your partner doesn't have much? I hope. I hope the answer to that is yes. Okay, so if you had ace, king, jack, deuce of hearts, would you lead the deuce?
No.
I wouldn't. I might lead the ace first and take a peek. And then I can decide what to do at trick 2 because I have a lot better information. I can see the dummy, right? Okay, so the fact that he led the deuce. And by the way, did the way he lead the deuce matter? Like if he led it without a care in the world, does that mean anything? It means a lot, right? Always watch how they're sitting at the table. Just gonna bring it up again. You'll be shocked at what you learn about your opponent's hands. If he just carelessly leads the deuce of hearts, what do you think he's got? I agree with you. I think he's got ace king fourth. Now, if he truly has ace king fourth of hearts, that means the jack of hearts is over there, right? Where's the jack of clubs?
What do you know about it from the get-go? What does Sal know?
It's got to be over here now because there's only room for 1 point. It was the jack of hearts. Where's the queen of diamonds?
You know you're not going to be the
Should I hook the diamond?
You know that. Okay, so let's draw.
You're going to be amazing when you play this hand. How should I play it?
That's fine. That's a good bit.
Deuce of hearts is led. Should I call the queen or the 10? Queen. What should I do next?
Go slow. And also, what is a judge if you know you're
Drop the doubleton queen of diamonds next.
because you're not going to stop.
Because you know he has it.
Otherwise,
See how this works?
they have it.
Don't be afraid. And this is, I'll tell you, so when I first started playing bridge, I was pretty young. And I could figure out kind of what was going on at the table, okay? But I'll tell you what I would do. I would play a hand like this, and I would kind of figure out what was going on, but I would be afraid to play for the drop in the diamond. And I'll tell you why. Because I was told that with 3 small opposite ace, king, jack, you're supposed to take the finesse, right? And if you don't finesse it, you're a bad person. Remember that stuff? But then I used to watch this guy, and you know him. I used to watch a guy named Pekarsik. Pekarsik was excellent. Okay, he'd been playing for like 50 years. He really knew what he was doing. And I would watch Pekarsik play because I used to run a lot of bridge games. And I would notice something when I watched him play. He would play the way I wanted to play, but was afraid to, because I didn't want to be wrong. And then when I saw him do it for like the 10th time, I said, okay, I'm done. I'm just going to do whatever I want from now on. Whatever I think is right is what I'm going to do. And that's what I've done ever since. Because if I think this hand has the queen of diamonds, and I don't think he has it, I know it, I'm just going to play for the draw. And if it's wrong, I don't care. I'm going to play the next hand. Because I'm not going to be afraid.
And why are you playing for
Because I know that if I honestly believe he has the jack of hearts over there isn't room for the queen of diamonds because that means he opened with only 10 points. And if he opened with 10 points, it's probably on shape, right? But I know he didn't do that because one, he didn't lead a club. The other thing is he has queen jack of clubs probably. He did lead it, right? You can't have queen jack 10 6th. That would have been his lead. And he's led the 4 of hearts from a 4-card suit. He's probably got a flat hand. Like if I was to really be read between the lines, isn't that like what it feels to you? That he's got like a balanced 12 to 14 type hand, and his partner has the jack of hearts and he happened to find it on the lead? I mean, doesn't like what your table presence tell you? I'll know for sure later, but that's why I would not hook it, because I'm nearly 100% sure this hand has the diamond queen. And on a bad day, he won't have it, and I'll play the next board. I'll move on. Okay.
You might film him
Now,
some of the time.
What's that?
I want to talk about a related but different topic.
He's so
Okay, so before I take this off the board here, this hand will do just fine. How many of you are life masters? Just so I know. Okay, a quarter of you, a fifth. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're a life master. I'm going to describe it to you, what it takes to get there. It's a marathon. You got to drive to tournaments. You gotta play with the same partners, you work out your agreements, then you play in these events, right? And what happens when you play in these events? Does it go smoothly?
Win some, lose some.
I would say, what's the opposite of smoothly? Bumpily? I'm gonna create a word, bumpily. It couldn't be worse, right? And I will tell you, I was fortunate, I got to play with very good players. It was never smooth. Just problems just appear. People, especially certain people, have a hard time sticking to agreements that were made. And what happens when people fail to remember the agreements, or they get things wrong, or they have things confused? People get upset, right? Okay. A lot of bridge is, yeah, go for it.
Did you play much with your dad?
I played with my dad for years. A lot of what happens is you'll be doing fine. You'll be on your path to accomplishing what you want to accomplish. And then a board will go sideways. And then what happens? One or both people get upset, everything falls apart, right? Okay, so take this hand here. Suppose I rise with the Queen of Hearts, and it's wrong. And the guy led from ace, jack, fourth of hearts. And I could have made the normal percentage play of calling the 10, right? I was wrong. Could it happen? It's not could it happen, it's when it's going to happen again. Because I'm frequently going to be wrong in life. That's part of being a bridge player. I'm going to be wrong a lot. One of the most important skills in bridge is don't get upset about it. Don't get, and when partner does it, don't say a word. And that's so hard. It is, right? Like how many times have you sat there at the table, you have the whole hand counted, and partner still gets it wrong, and they've shown him all the cards. You know, going to that first example, where the person chooses to cash out the minors before they leave the heart towards the king jack, and they could have easily had the whole count, right? And they still rise with the ace. Look, let me tell you the reality. People get tired, people lose concentration, people get nervous, and they panic. It happens, and it's going to continue to happen. It's part of playing bridge. If you say something to them at the table, what's going to be the result?
Worse.
They're going to fall apart. What else is going to be the result?
Make more mistakes.
That day they're going to make more mistakes. What's the long-term impact? Okay, one, you might lose your partner. But two, even if you keep your partner, what's your partner going to do? I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to be afraid. And being afraid is the opposite of what we want them to be. What we want them to be is fearless. So do yourself a favor. Do them a favor. Don't even bring it up. Now, it doesn't mean you shouldn't discuss it with them. Wait. And so here's a very typical situation. This comes up not just in bridge, but in all aspects of life, right? When somebody does something wrong because they don't know any better, wait a couple of weeks and then bring it up. But do it in a controlled manner where other people can't hear the discussion, so they're not being embarrassed. And then explain to them how they could have known how to solve the problem. And the reason why that's so important is one, for the long-term partnership and friendship that you're building with somebody. But two, what are you hoping to accomplish when you're having this conversation? Is it that you're just trying to relieve your own frustration, or are you trying to help them to learn better? It should be the latter. Are they going to get anything out of it if I just come unglued at the table? It's like, how did you not know we had two hearts? Is that going to help you anyway? But if I said to you a month later, okay, look, he stopped pulling trump, so you could play him for 6 spades, and I gave you the count in clubs and diamonds, and the reason you should be able to count it is I know you have this problem, so you can count on it. Now is she going to be next time going to be in a better position to handle this? Yes. Is she going to hate me later? No. And those are two very important things. Okay? And I know that most people don't talk about this, but how you talk to and treat your partners is an extremely important part of the marathon that you're running. Okay. I think we should stop. Excuse me. I think we should stop here because I